Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Tea Time with Tony, where you get some straight talk by a gay dude as I serve the tea piping hot. Who's ready for some tea? I love me some good tea, don't you? I know you do. Anyway, today I'm going to deviate a little bit from what I've been doing in recent episodes. I'm not going to be talking too much about my new book, #AreYouHereYet? How to STFU and Show Up for Yourself. Although what I'm going to talk about today is very much in alignment with my new book. I sounded like Marianne Williamson there for a second. Yes. So I wanted to talk today about outrage culture. So first, let me give you a little bit of history. Over the weekend, I inadvertently got involved in this Twitter feud. And I swear, I didn't realize what it was going to cause. If I were to do things differently, I would share the information I shared in a DM versus a public thread. I get that now, and I certainly own that part of it. However, caused a big ruckus, and one person got super offended, and then he rallied all of his followers to outrage against me and make all of these accusations, but whatever. They're not true. And he knows it, but whatevs. Anyway, that's not the point. So that was an example of how outrage culture really just kind of like, bam, hit me right in the face, because I mean, I was aware of it, but it never impacted me quite as personally as it did this weekend. So before I get into that, let me make a few disclaimers. We live in a very, very scary time. Listen, the only other time that I can remember that was scarier was when the AIDS epidemic started. We didn't even have a name for it. I think it was still called ARC. Gay men are dying left and right. Intravenous heroin addicts are dying left and right. So we didn't know what the hell was going on. So I could only picture like these two horrific periods of time in tandem here. And, you know, folks have every right to be outraged. The shit that's going on nowadays is deplorable, right? And we're doing it to each other. Now, couple that with social media, which was a few episodes back on Tea Time with Tony. We get a platform to verbalize that outrage. And not only do we get a platform to verbalize that outrage, we get to group people into our cause. You know, now between outrage culture and social media, it's turned all of us into rebel without a cause, or rebel with a cause, you know, whoever's looking at the situation. Again, people have every right to be outraged. Here's the problem. Here's a few problems that I want to point out, and this is the tea for today. One of the things that really annoys me about outrage culture is, as an individual, if you feel offended by something, by all means, be offended. I'm offended by a lot of things, okay? But I don't get so verbal on it on Twitter and try to get people on my side. Listen, I share my opinion, you know, end of the day, we're good. If you're offended by something, certainly speak up. Speak up appropriately, speak towards the issue. But most importantly, hear this is the tea right here. See if there's a solution, right? Because with outrage culture, all we do is talk about the outrage and the outrage and the outrage and the outrage, and it just creates more outrage. So try to identify a solution or ask for solutions, right? Use social media for you, you know, for your cause, okay? The other thing with outrage culture, folks, allow people to have their own opinion or give them information to form an opinion. Don't force feed it. I remember talking to a coworker about a year or so ago. I believe his name was James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, where he made this tweet that was considered racist by most people. And I didn't read it, so I don't have an opinion, by the way. And he wrote it like 10 years ago, and then people were bringing it up. Oh, he's racist. Oh, he's racist. Which is what we're doing in outrage culture, right? We're just pointing the finger, labeling someone as racist, homophobe, transphobe. Not that those things don't happen, but not every incident we see deserves that label, I think. But anyway, so I was talking to my coworker, and he was like, if he would just apologize and say, hey, that was racist. And I said, well, how about this? Offering a different point of view. Maybe he didn't realize it was racist, so he could say, hey, I tweeted that. I didn't realize it was racist. No, he has to apologize, and he has to admit that he's racist, that it was racist. And I was like, this is where it almost outrage culture turns people into this hive mind, I think, right? So in this example, I gave him an alternate explanation, right? Like, let the guy say, hey, when I tweeted that, I didn't realize it was racist. His defense was, no, he has to admit it was racist. Allow people to have a difference of opinion. If they're not hurting you, it's okay for people to have a difference of opinion. And that's what I think outrage culture does, as it is, doesn't work. So I'm not saying don't be outraged. What I'm saying is allow people to form an opinion, give them information. Because, a lot of times I go to him for a lot of this stuff because he's very into this. Because I want to know, especially with this incident on Twitter this weekend, I want to know his opinion because he's on the pulse of this, right? And I try to get information on, hey, what's going on with this, or is this considered this, or this and that. So I ask him for information so I can make informed decisions and not be part of the problem and be part of the solution, which are the 2 points I'm really trying to make today, folks. Be outraged, but A, be part of the problem, part of the solution, not part of the problem. And B, don't create a hive mind. We're not sheeple, we're people. This whole sheeple mentality sometimes that occurs, not just in outrage culture, but in the spiritual world, in the personal development world. You see a lot of cult, robots, and they're all talking the same language. You know what I mean? I don't have to spill tea there. I probably spilled it in other episodes. But anyway, we're allow differences to exist. If there's some sort of harm coming to you, speak up. But if someone's coming to you or they did something and they didn't realize what they were doing, allow them to speak their mind and give them your point of view. Don't force them into this bubble of, a label, right? Again, not that these things don't happen, but not everyone deserves the labels that are being thrown out right now. So that's the tea I'm going to leave you with, okay? So with that, I leave you, and until next time, enjoy your tea. Bye.